As many of you know, Fallout New Vegas is absolutely teeming with mods, and that remains true to this day, which leads me to adding New Vegas to one of my newer series, which is finding the 10 most interesting mods of that month and showcasing them. So that's what we're doing today. Here are 10 of the most interesting mods, at least mods that I found most interesting, for April 2021 in Fallout New Vegas. Up first on the list, we have Omega's True Blade of the East. This is a texture mod for Lanius's Blade of the East, and I think it looks really good, and that it is a great improvement on the vanilla textures for Lanius's sword. The sword is emblazoned with a Latin translation of a Shakespeare quote, and this quote is, "A coward dies 1,000 deaths, the valiant never taste death but once." Overall, I absolutely love this texture for the Blade of the East, and even if you only get to see it during the times that you share with Lanius at the end of the game, and then you're able to carry it, just for that brief little bit, unless you get something like the functional post-game ending, where you'd then be able to keep playing after finding the sword. Even if you have it for that short period of time, I think it looks very nice in game, and it's something I recommend adding to your game as well.
You like that?
Now we're looking at the first of many weapon mods that appear in this video. We're looking at the M1 Garand Pack from Sebastien. These rifles are ported over from Call of Duty, but the author says that there's also some Rising 2 Storm assets and also some skins from World War II being ported as well. The guns in this pack look phenomenal. I love the way they feel, they look right in game, and overall I think they're a nice thing to add to your game when it comes to Fallout New Vegas weaponry. The mod even includes some fun little unique looking, like legendary type unique versions of these guns that are from wacky to really cool looking, and I think that anybody looking for a nice M1 Garand pack, this is going to be top of the line for you. This is a very good port of these guns, and they look very nice in game, and I recommend the mod. Now we're looking at Minted, a 357 Magnum mod, which is again something ported from Call of Duty. Coming at us from Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, this is the 357 Magnum Minted, and you can find it in either Doc Mitchell's house or buying it from the Gunrunners. While I think the textures look marvelous, and this isn't something that I would probably throw into my game all the time. The little red laser sight really kind of throws me off, as do most of the red laser sights, little laser sights in Fallout New Vegas. They're constantly on, even when you holster your weapon. It's just that I've never really enjoyed them, even like vanilla ones. But this especially, it just looks kind of funky to me inside the game, and it's relatively balanced though. So taking it against some enemies, you're not just gonna one-shot enemies with this. So I mean, that's a plus for sure. But though I again think it looks very beautiful, it is not something that I would probably throw into every playthrough. But if you're a Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War fan, well, this is probably right up your alley, isn't it? So definitely check it out if you enjoy guns from that series, because I do think it does look very good. It just might not be for me in normal playthroughs. Now we're looking at a mod that'll add 2 M60s to the game, and we're looking at the standard Vietnam pattern and the E3 configuration with attachments. M60 is from Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, and the M60 E3 is from Modern Warfare Remastered. This is another truly beautiful port from Call of Duty and Rising Storm. These ports are wonderful, and a lot of these guns do seem to just kind of fit into the Fallout world. Now, obviously, a bit of a lore situation for people who have maybe only played these newer Fallout games, but there were quite, advanced weapons going back into the classic Fallout games, and to see some of these show up is nice. One thing I will say is these guns are pretty OP. You're going to be able to mow down most things with these guns, and adding the attachments is only going to make that easier and better. But this is fun to play around with. It's a nice weapon to throw in there. All of these mods are nice, as you can tell. That's the word of the video. But I have been really enjoying these really well done textures and weapon mods, and putting them into New Vegas. It's not usually something that I mess around with. I usually don't add a bunch of modern weapons or any kind of weapon mods. I usually just use like a classic Fallout weapon pack or something like that. So going into seeing what people are making when it comes to these weapons, I've really been enjoying that journey, and the M60 stands out big time because, again, they did a wonderful job. Next, we have the Hoover Dam Jets Restored and Distant mod from Zetus, and this is really, really cool. This adds the jets back into Hoover Dam for that nice touch where Hoover Dam is supposed to have all this water flowing through it. It's supposed to be a mecca of power. It's supposed to really signify the strength of the Mojave Wasteland. And when you see the jets coming out of it, it's that much more awe-inspiring. Now, this is something that was cut from the original game, and this mod aims to restore it. And I'm sure there's some other mods that probably do the same, but I found this one to be very well done, and it looks great. So this is something for all of you diehards out there that want more true content from the way New Vegas was supposed to be released when it comes to small details, little details that you only see these in the distance. They're not going to play a huge role in your gameplay or anything, but it still adds just a little bit of nuance to the area. Highly recommended. Now we're going back to the weapon mods with the HK416 by Modish Nouns. Now, also a friendly reminder, all of the links for these mods can be found in the description of this video, and I highly recommend you go down there, show some love to the mod authors if you enjoy these mods, get in there and endorse them if you like them, because these people do a ton of work for most of the time no credit and no financial compensation, most of the time. So I'm sure they would appreciate if you guys do enjoy the mods to go show them some love over there. This is a mod that I think you will enjoy if you like modernized weapons in your Fallout games. This is going to be another rifle mod that will give you no trouble at all when it comes down to cutting down any enemy in your path, and the textures look so sleek and nice if you are into the clean, newer weapons that can show up in weapon mods. This is one of the best I've seen. Every little detail is nice, and if you download the actual animation pack that they recommend for the Hitman's animation pack that they have recommended, I know that the weapon functions a lot better. Without it, you just kind of move the gun around and it reloads, but there is animations that you can get with this as well that aren't really showcased in my video here. But again, the way this looks is fantastic, and I highly recommend it to the people who enjoy this type of gun in their arsenal because it functions well, it's very, very good in combat, and you can't beat the way it looks.
Found you.
Maybe I'm just jumping.
Now we're looking at the PR-15 Ragun mod from Luna the Broody, and it would add, as you would expect, the Polish PR-15 Ragun sidearm to the Mojave. Now, this is a phenomenal looking pistol. I'm a huge fan of nice looking handgun mods, and this is going to be one of them. It functions phenomenally, it looks incredible, and it's pretty balanced. You're not going to be running in and just smoking everything in your path. It functions just about as well as a 9mm in combat, and I'm sure upgrading it makes it a bit better than that as well, but it just looks great. And it's a nice little touch to the wasteland. You always find pistols and handguns and things like that in the wasteland. Having more variety of that, you can't argue with that, and this is a nice looking 9mm that will really, really help you in your Mojave adventures. From one handgun to another, we now look at the Mauser M712. This crispy, clean, textured, amazing looking Mauser comes to us from, again, Luna the Broody. So I wanted to include both of their mods kind of back to back. But I will mention, like the page does, that this was ported by Nova and made by Stahlheim TV. Some would say that this is a bit too clean of a texture, and they would be 100% correct. I would absolutely agree that this texture is incredibly clean, but there's something about the crispness of this Mauser that I enjoy quite a bit. It almost looks like a toy gun. It almost looks cell shaded. It's kind of weird. It fits differently in this world. It almost makes me feel like it's kind of a part of a pack, of like a graphics pack, and this is just kind of left over from. But it also, to what I'm to understand, this was in Fallout 4 as well, and it's actually ported to New Vegas, so that could be why it looks so different compared to everything else. But regardless, it's a great functioning Mauser. I think it does look good regardless of being too clean. Some people are not for that too clean look. Others, it doesn't really bother you. It doesn't bother me too much when a weapon is too clean. But the texture is very crisp, very clean. If you're into old guns, if you're into Mausers, a lot of people really enjoy the look of Mausers. I think this is a good mod for you, and you might enjoy it quite a bit. Up next, we're looking at the basic Enclave bunker player home. This is something that's right up in that gas station that Ringo usually hangs out in next to Good Springs, or right in Good Springs. There's a little manhole entrance next to it, and that opens up into a giant Enclave bunker that can act as a player home. This looks great, and from what I understand, it's still kind of a work in progress, so they may add more to it as well. But this looks good. If you're playing somebody, if you want to have like this background for your courier where they're in the Enclave and it's all secret or whatever, this is like the perfect mod for that. There's all kinds of little trinkets inside, and trinkets isn't the right word, like little references, little things that make it feel very enclavey, and it looks nice. You got a big vertibird down there, you got armor inside of those, you know, force field shelve things. It just looks nice. Again, nice is the word of the video. It is good. So if you're looking for a bunker player home and you want to have that Enclave flair, this is a good start, and it's right there outside of Good Springs. The next mod addresses the issue of Centaurs just not being terrifying enough. In fact, they want to throw it back to when Centaurs were super terrifying. So this is the classic Centaur Fallout 1 and 2 Modders Resource mod, and this will kind of reanimate the classic Centaurs that we've seen in Fallout 1 and 2, which have a dog and a human combined into their body. You'll find these bad boys lurking around Black Mountain, and they stay true to what they're supposed to be, the classic Centaurs from Fallout 1 and 2. I think they look great in this new game engine, and anytime there's a classic Fallout mod that adds things from the classic Fallout games, I'm going to be a sucker for it. This is no different. I recommend this if you want to add some variety to your game. There is a little bit of, you know, kinks to work out, because I guess some of the limb detection and the way the enemy works isn't exactly right, but that's why it's a modder's resource. I think that this still looks awesome, and having it in your game to kind of surprise yourself, I guess. I know you're gonna know it's there already, but I mean, going up into Black Mountain and having that nice little new detail in there, it's fun, and I really like things from classic Fallout, so I'm gonna recommend this highly. Speaking of mods that add things from classic Fallout, it leads us to our final mod of the video, the classic Mr. Handy from Fallout 1 and 2. Again, modder's resource by the same person. We're looking at the classic version of the Mr. Handy here, as the mod would tell you in its title. These blasts from the past can be found around RepCon headquarters, and again, this is something that I really enjoy. You got the old bucket style shape of the Mr. Handys from the classic Fallout games, as seen on the TVs and the intros, as seen in-game. These are great, and down to every little detail, and they're coming in a few different colors, which is nice to see. Just hanging out outside RepCon, they are aggressive, they will attack you on sight, and they are kind of, you know, they're a little strong, so you got to make sure you bring your A game. But again, nothing is better to me than seeing remnants from classic Fallout be added to things like New Vegas, even Fallout 4, stuff like that. I just really enjoy that blast from the past because I grew up playing those games. So this is another one that I'm going to highly recommend if you're a fan of the classic Fallout games and you want that flair into your game, that little, it almost feels like a reference to the old games when you stumble across stuff like this. So again, check it out if you want to. All these links are in the description. And with that, it will wrap up our video on Fallout New Vegas's most interesting mods of April 2021, or at least the ones I found most interesting. But I just feel like I haven't left you with enough. So as tradition, I guess I can hit you with a bonus one. So we're going to look at the Drivable Nevada Highway Patrol Car that's coming at us from Jamar 1978 that adds Drivable Nevada Highway Patrol Car to the Mojave Wasteland, as the title would suggest. Now this mod uses the Frontier, so you do have to have the Frontier to make this work. And when I installed the Frontier this time around, I haven't installed it since way when it first released, the very first version that dropped. I haven't installed it since then. It turned all of my characters purple. It broke every grass texture that I had. It broke a lot of the armor textures that I had. So I turned off grass when I was doing footage for the cars. But this could be because I had other texture mods on. I don't know how well it plays with the other texture mods, so beware of that. If you're just throwing this mod on to check it out and drive around, I do suggest that, because using the Frontier's vehicle system, Jamar here has added cars to the Mojave, and there's actually a few that I'll be looking at here, and you can find them on his page by following the link down there. But driving around Quarry Junction, driving around different parts of the Mojave is really just an incredible amount of fun. I actually had a tremendous amount of fun with it, so I highly recommend at least giving it a check out. If you already have the Frontier installed, especially, you know, throw this mod on and check out what you can do with it, because it's a lot of fun and I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. And the car models look really good. Whoever made the car models on that, great job. But now it is actually the end of the video, and I want to thank you tremendously for checking it out. It means the world to me that you would come in and check out the videos that I make, check out the channel at all, checking out my Twitter or my Instagram, anything like that. It means a lot to me that you even care what I'm doing or what I'm up to. So thank you for checking it out. Think about subscribing if you haven't already, if you want more stuff like this, and leaving a like helps out the channel a lot. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube channel members. Without them, this channel would literally be nowhere. Like, they support it so much that I can't even explain. They allow me to do this full time, and I can't thank them enough. But I do want to thank my biggest supporters by name: Ian Raleigh, Popo Hum, Adam Souza, Fireflare, JP Rivera, Primark Mustard, Zero Soder, Thomas, Billy Joe Jimbob, Daniel Adelano, Marcus Jacobstown, Legendary Angel 94, Spencer Webb, Techie, Ruben Atwood, Phil Starsick, Bill Scott Sheets, and Edgy. Thank you guys so much. Again, I couldn't do it without you. Your support means the world to me. I hope to catch you on the next one. It has been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch